Well, there we go. So, I got a question here. It's an interesting question. They want to know, how big is big? They want to know how big is big.
How big is big?
And how small is
small?
Small, yeah. They want to know
big, small.
How big is big?
Small, big. Well, it's interesting that you should ask, because it's all relative, you know. Whenever I go to a concert, I try to go there, like I try to go see Loop Station, or I try to go see Shakewell, and I maneuver myself into the front, the very front, because I know if I don't, some grain-fed, hormone-infused character who's 7 feet tall is going to come and stand right in front of me. And it always happens. I mean, once I even stood on an apple box and a giant came and stood in front of me. I kid you not. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, except to say that anyone who's bigger than me is a giant, and anyone who's smaller than me is a midget. You see, it's all relative. How big is big? Big is bigger than you, small is smaller than you. But how about the cosmic dimension of this question? You know, when you get right down to it, the human size and the human scale is exactly between the farthest expansion of the large size and the smallest contraction of the small size. Humans are exactly poised to be in between the micro and the macro world. Oh, it's a very complicated technical answer, and fortunately we have Dr. Pete Goldie here to take you through it in a special K-Rob film segment.
Okay.
Powers of 10.
It's cool.
Here we are. This is the universe that we're familiar with. This is what we know. This is where we are. This is where we eat. This is where we make love and have children. Yes, this is where we have ants in our picnic. And then suddenly you pass away. You get a little bit bigger. Things get smaller. 10 to the 1. 10 to the 2. Look, they're using the metric system, that totally fraudulent French system.
Alleged French system.
Now, those of us who are actually contractors and do work here in America know that the metric system is completely invalid, and we use the English system. But we're gonna tolerate these people a little bit. Yes, they're measuring the distance, and we're going away. I believe they're on the Chicago waterfront, or are they in the Lake Charles? Yes, there they go. And now you're getting away. 10 to the 4 meters. Well, 100,000 meters. Big deal. Wow, we all know that. Yes, again, we're passing away into something you would see from Google Earth. It's 10 times larger every time the number on the upper right changes. 5, 5, 6, 6, 10 to the 6 meters. That's 1 million meters.
We're going to get big.
We're going to get, wow, you can actually see the continent, the North American continent. There's our planet. 10 million meters encompasses our planet. Yep.
Isn't this also a casting series?
Yes, that is what Powers of 10 is all about. It's learning a bit of math where you change the number in the upper right corner. Just keep changing that number. Now you can see the relative distance between the Earth and the Moon at 10 to the 9 meters. As you go farther and farther, you're going to see the relative orbit of our planet around Sol. You'll see this, and it's actually a very large distance. 93 million miles is the radius between our planet and the Sun. But 10 to the 10 meters? No, gotta go a little farther. Now we can see orbits of adjoining planets. 1 astronomical unit, 93 million miles is now within the frame that you are seeing. There is Sol. And the outer gaseous planets, those gas giants, are a considerable distance. They're quite a far, far way away. They're not in our neighborhood where the Rockies are. Nope, and here we go. And you see that one in the strange inclined orbit? That's the dwarf former planet Pluto, now asteroid 184840. And now we're leaving our solar system. We're not going to encounter another star until we've gone 4 light years. Now, light years are not measured in meters. But here we are, 10 to the 14. Now, we're still going quite a distance until we see. You know, the distance between stars is so enormous. If you were to take every star known to exist and line them end to end, they would not reach the average distance between one star and the next. That's how far space is apart from each other.
Why they call it space?
It's called space for a reason. And you can see really far in space because it really is nothing. And I don't care about dark energy or dark matter. You don't see it, it doesn't count as far as we live. We're just in the middle. Now we're picking up speed, 10 to the 18. We're finally getting into our galactic neighborhood. We're going to see an arm of a galaxy. The galaxy we live in, stupidly named the Milky Way.
It's the Sagittarian.
There's the fog.
Actually, it's the spur of the Sagittarian arm that we live on. We do not actually live on even one of the main arms. We are on a side street of an arm in our galaxy. And we go further and further. We can actually see the strangely named Milky Way. I don't know if that came from a porn movie or what. We go farther and farther, and then you can actually see. Now, here's an interesting phenomenon. At this point, galaxies relative to each other are sort of close together. This is a very interesting phenomenon when it comes to studying cosmology. You know, you could actually throw a handful of pebbles around, and relative to their size and distances, that's about how galaxies are that far apart. While this one star to another is an enormous distance, relative one galaxy to another, not so much. Now, we're not going to go any farther than 13.7 billion light years. That's it. But we're only at 100 billion light years. I think we've hit the pause button or something, or we're just not going to go any further for what is known thanks to the... Oh, yes. Now we've got to go in and... We've got to fly deep into this spot, go into the stupid spur arm of one of the main arms, go all the way down, eventually find a tiny little star of no significance, a simple G0 in the main sequence. Not an interesting star at all. There it comes.
Pete, how did you find your way back?
Nearby. Well, you know, I just used the little roller thing on the cursor, and eventually you come all the way back, just like Google Earth. Oh, we're entering an atmosphere. We're getting down Lake Michigan, the Chicago waterfront. Oh, there's the Field Museum. I can see it. And there's the marina, and down to the stupid picnic. Oh, no, I don't want to see anything any closer on that guy's hand, do you? But I guess we have to. Now, this is where I actually know some things, biology. You see, everything I've been telling you about astronomy, I make it up. I don't know a single damn thing about it. Now, when it comes to this, here we're seeing skin. First, dead skin. The epidermis. Yes. Flaky, dead, crinkly, horrible masses covering our bodies. I don't know why you'd ever make love. But here we go closer and closer. Now, if we're lucky, we'll see some Dermatophagotes farinae, a tiny dust mite. No? We're going to just go all the way into a single cell. And inside of a cell, well, there's molecules, cytoplasm, sloshing around, organelles inside the cell, proton pumps, and oh, we're going into the nucleus, and now we see this incredible mass of DNA. It is much more complex than you're seeing in this bizarrely simplified illustration here, because there are numerous proteins which make all of this double super twisted DNA hold together, various histones and other things. But we'll get closer and closer, and eventually we'll see an atom. Now, they're simulating a vibration because, at this point, everything vibrates. You're not going to get the chemistry that you need to have life without everything vibrating, bouncing around, reacting with each other. But we're still not within a single atom of a single molecule. We have to get quite a bit closer, just as you have to get quite a bit farther. And are we going to go through a cloud of electrons to penetrate into this atom? Are we going to find a single one? I think we've passed through that cloud of electrons. On the heavier atoms, we pass through and are heading toward a nucleus. But again, it's a long distance from that electron cloud to that vibrating nucleus. And what is it? Of course, the massive particles. You see a proton and a neutron, but they're mere approximations of their subatomic particles. Quarks, up, down, strange, bottom, top, colors, flavors, and let's talk about the anti-quarks. You can actually have anti-quarks with quarks and still be in the not anti-world. We're still getting smaller. We're measuring things in angstroms now, thanks to that famous Swedish scientist, His name was, I believe, Linnaeus Engstrom. Nils Engstrom. As far as I'm concerned, we never went far enough out or far enough in. But it's an approximation, folks. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time,
Keep going.
Okay.
Yes, that's true. You see, humans are having their picnic in Chicago are right between the super big and the super little, and that's just the way it is. If we had been far larger or far smaller, life would certainly be different. I kid you not. And now, back to our program, the Ask Dr. Hal Show.